Welcome to Running Up the Score. I am Alex Kennedy. This is my show where we talk all things sports. Today I'm joined by a guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's been one of the most productive rookies in this class, despite going undrafted. One of the feel-good stories and pleasant surprises of this NBA season. My guest is Craig Porter. Let's get to my interview with Craig. Craig, thanks for joining me. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. You've been playing so well. Last time we talked was during the pre-draft process. Now, I have some stats to rattle off here. You are top 5 in PER among rookies, number 1 in assist-to-turnover ratio among rookies, number 1 in steal percentage for all rookies, 2-time nominee for Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month, and the only rookie averaging at least 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists as a starter this season. It's been so impressive to watch what you've done in Cleveland. How has your adjustment to the NBA been going so far?
It's been very fast-paced learning. With all the injuries we've had so far this season and things like that, I've been pushed to play pretty early. So the learning process has just been the same as the playing process. As soon as I got put in, I was learning everything and it was all new. But it's just been an amazing journey so far, though.
What's been like off the court, too, adjusting to the travel and the schedule? How tough has that been?
It's different for sure. We're probably halfway through the year right now, and it feels like it's just ridiculous. I didn't realize how many games you really play within, each week. But it's taking some adjusting. But I just feel like once I figured out my routine, it kind of made everything a lot easier. And the travel is definitely, it's fun. You get to go see all these different cities, and it's just crazy to think what a basketball can do for you.
Whenever we talked during the pre-draft process, you had said, I just need an opportunity. And that's been the case throughout your entire career. In college, when you're in JUCO, whenever you've got an opportunity, you've made the most of it. Same thing this season. You started getting minutes in some starts, and you made the most of it and played really well. One of the things that you talked about back during during pre-draft was how your age and being 23 could help you with the NBA transition. Some guys are coming in, they're 19, 20. They're not as mature, not as experienced.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think your age has helped you with the transition to the NBA now that you're actually in it?
It's like you said, the age. I did 5 years of college. So, I feel like I just was put in almost every situation that could prepare me to be a pro. I've played the role of being just a role player, being just a defender, somebody who sits in the corner. So, I'm just prepared really for any role that I'm put in. And, I feel like nothing's too big for me to handle any situation I've been put in so far. I've proven, that I can just handle it. And my maturity is probably the biggest thing that stuck out during all of that.
So when you went undrafted, you had a number of options. I know you worked out for a lot of different teams. What made you choose Cleveland? What kind of stood out about the Cavs that made you want to sign with them?
Really, it was just their eagerness to just want to work with me and make me a better player. And I just saw a future here. And and it's also not too far from where I'm from. So, just being able to be close to home, obviously not too close, but, and still just have an organization this willing to want to work with you and have this much trust in me already. But, even before that, they just saw something in me that I feel like a lot of people didn't see. And, that just being that early, it just meant a lot to me.
There's some diehard fans in Cleveland. I think they're known for their support and their loyalty. What's been your reaction to the fan base in Cleveland and also just the culture kind of up and down the Cavs organization?
The fans are great. I found a little section in our fan base that just loves me, and it's at times I see some of the things they say and hear them at the games, and just hearing people just being a fan of my game this early and just having that much confidence in me, and it's just what I like, going out there and just playing good for them. Putting on a show for them, and that's just really the main goal. You got these people who just support you all year long. They never know what to expect coming into these games. So, people who are diehards like that, you just got to go play your all for them.
And then what's it been like, being in the Cavs organization, the support they've kind of given you, the culture there? What stands out to you about, your first impression, I guess, of the Cavs organization?
Everybody around here was just super, hands-on and just friendly, I would say. Everybody just reached out and was just super eager to just help me learn and just be in my corner. And I mean, just having that much support right off the back and being undrafted was just something I didn't expect. But I mean, it's just a very family oriented organization, just from the owner down to, I mean, the ball boys. Everybody just gets along, and we all just have that just friendship going along. And it's probably one of the only teams I've been on that I really can't say I think there's anybody on the team who doesn't like each other or even in the organization, because everybody just gets along and we're all talking and laughing and joking every day. And it's fun to be around.
That's awesome. Playing with Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. Obviously, Darius is injured right now, but what's it like being able to play with those guys and being able to learn from them as well? Since obviously, they're two of the better guards in the NBA.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, but a lot of times I always get a little caught up. Me being the same age as Darius, it's a little different when we talk.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so anytime we talk, I mean, it's not, he doesn't really talk to me. Really, any of them, they don't really talk to me like I'm a person who just spent 1 year in high school or not high school, but college. And I'm just kind of new to the game. They all kind of give me my respect as I've earned it. And they just talk to me like I'm an older player. And, I mean, there's obviously points where I got to learn and just new things that they can teach me. And, but they see a lot in me, and I mean, that's just one of the things. Like, you go from playing with these guys on 2K to being on their team, and it's like, it's just a surreal feeling. But those guys are great leaders for me.
Do you have a welcome to the NBA moment yet? Was there a moment that kind of stood out to you? Like, you're like, wow, I've really made it here.
I don't think there's really been one so far. I mean, I feel like playing in overtime against the 76ers in like my first few games and actually playing in crunch time minutes like that and just having to go deliver offensively and defensively is probably my moment up to this point. I mean, but other than that, there's not been anything crazy, I don't think.
Who's the toughest player so far you've had to guard?
I'll go back to that same game. They threw me in and they were like, "You got Maxey," and I was like, I think this was like probably 1 or 2 games after he had just dropped a 50 ball. And I was like, I hadn't really been playing that much up to this point either. So I was kind of, injuries happened and I was thrown in that fire. So I wasn't nervous, but I was like, all right, I'll take the matchup. That's fine. But he's a good player. That's one of those dudes, like him mixing in the quickness and just the craftiness that he has. He's hard to guard, I will say.
You mentioned injuries and having to step up. In 5 games as a starter, you've averaged 11.4 points, 7.4 assists, 6.2 rebounds, 1.4 blocks, and 1.2 steals. Those would be fantastic numbers for anyone, much less a rookie. How do you kind of stay ready? I think a lot of people don't realize how tough that is. Not really knowing where your minutes are going to come, when you might be starting, when you're not. How do you kind of stay ready and for that opportunity when it comes?
I mean, it's almost as easy as it sounds. I mean, everybody around the organization, from the head coach down to, I mean, even myself, I mean, even my agent, everybody's just been telling me, things are going to happen. You're going to get your shot, just always stay ready. And I mean, it sounds simple, but I mean, you just go in there every day just knowing like some little thing could happen and your time will come. And I mean, that could be the change of your whole future. So really just keeping that in the back of my mind. And I mean, everybody's just always had that confidence in me, even before I was getting on the court. They just saw something in me. And I mean, I'm just taking everything I can get from, just the opportunities.
Your game's obviously very well-rounded, but I think one of the things that stands out the most is your defensive impact. I've talked to coaches who say it's really rare for a rookie to kind of be a defensive difference maker. It kind of takes time sometimes as they adjust to the NBA, the competition level. For you to step in as a rookie, an undrafted rookie especially, and make an immediate impact defensively, why do you think you've been able to do that? And when so many other rookies, not just this year, but every year, have a hard time with defense?
I mean, I'll go back to that maturity and being willing to accept a role. I'll go back to that. And I mean, like I said, 5 years in college. I mean, there's up until my final year of college, I didn't get to really be that star player on any team I was on. So really, I had to figure out ways to get on the court. And, like you said, being undersized, I mean, there's always going to be good guards that are my height and can do everything. But what I always tried to figure out what I could do to separate myself. And I mean, I always took defense. I took that so serious, more than offense half the time. So, I mean, that was just one of those things where I realized, if I can lock in on this, I can stay on the court and then they got to play you. Because, I mean, if somebody's getting stops, you want that person on the floor. So really that's the biggest thing. And then, you add in the shot blocking and that just makes it even more better. So that's something I try to focus on.
For those that didn't maybe follow you in college, you became the first player to ever lead Wichita State in rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. Have you always kind of had a well-rounded game, or where did that come from?
Honestly, where it came from, I have no clue. Honestly, I mean, it's really just going back to even high school. I mean, I just always just played my heart out, just like every game was my last. I mean, it sounds a little corny to say, but I mean, it just was something I just did. I mean, and it always paid off and it always worked out. And a lot of times, even when I was younger, people always told me like, you play basketball the right way, and it's gonna always pay out for you. You're a team player. You're unselfish. I mean, you don't find that a lot of times. So really, I just try to do a lot of everything. And like I've told a lot of people before, I try to play a little bit like Rondo did throughout his career. And I mean, that's a phenomenal player. So if I can model my game after that, I'd be really happy.
Yeah, back when we talked before the draft, you had said Rondo and Lonzo Ball were two of the guys that you had studied. When did you start watching them, and what were some of the biggest things that you kind of learned from watching those guys?
I mean, Lonzo, he's around my age. So, I mean, I saw the whole Chino Hills, all their high school stuff. So, watching him just play with his brothers and just doing things like that and seeing how he played. I mean, but really, I credit him more to Rondo because, I was watching him when this is when LeBron was on the Heat, 2013. So I'm middle school,
Yeah.
I'm pretty undersized. So I'm really in the middle of figuring out how I'm gonna get into high school and figure out what I'm gonna do to get on the court. So because I was really small at that time, like going into my freshman year, I was like 5'2" or something like that. So like
Wow.
I was real small, so I had to figure things out. But really, just I mean, he was just for those Celtics teams. He was just one of those guys who could do everything. He didn't have to score anything besides 10 points, but he'll go get you 15 rebounds, 13 assists, maybe a block or two, some steals in there too. So it's like he affects the game in so many ways. It's just something you got to appreciate.
Do you kind of take pride in the fact that people look at you and they see your height and they don't expect you to be a great shot blocker or rebounder? You go undrafted and now you're exceeding expectations. Do you kind of take pride in proving people wrong and like having kind of a chip on your shoulder?
Definitely. I mean, I feel like being overlooked a lot of times kind of brings out a different animal in some people. And I mean, it's just one of those things where you get to a point to where you're like, yes, I want to prove everybody wrong, but at the same time, I know what I can do, and I've always had that just self confidence in myself that no matter what I do or don't do, I mean, I know what I'm capable of, and I just try to go out there and show that no matter what.
You are someone that played JUCO ball. Now there's a ton of guys. I'm sure they're going to be pointing to you as kind of uh, the person they want to emulate. You know what it's like to go through that path and then turn your NBA dream to a reality. What advice would you give to JUCO players that want to play in the NBA someday?
I mean, I know how hard it is, honestly. I mean, when I was in JUCO, we were having those same types of days like other kids are having, those long practices, they make you rethink back in your dorm room if you really want to do this basketball thing. And a lot of people think JUCO's overlooked, and I feel like it's taken another step. I mean, honestly, I'm seeing a lot of guys nowadays who are going to bigger schools than people were when I was there and getting into the league and stuff. And I mean, it's just one of those things where you got to take every opportunity you get. I mean, it's kind of like what we've been talking about. I didn't start on my JUCO team when I first got there, so it's just do anything you can to just chase your dreams. I mean, there's no better job in the world than playing basketball professionally. Because you get to do what you love. But really, I mean, just do what you love, do what you can, and always just play your heart out, because basketball, just playing basketball for a living is, I mean, anybody's dream, honestly.
Was there a certain experience, or I guess what was your JUCO experience like? And then was there a certain moment where you did kind of question things or doubt, if you could go on to play professional basketball? I guess when did you start considering professional basketball as like a realistic opportunity?
I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, but really, I mean, I always believed I could, but that the reality kind of sets in for some people. I mean, even when I was at Wichita having great years and great seasons, I was like, the odds of that happening with my age, my height, and a lot of other things. I mean, I took a lot of those things into consideration, and I was actually real with myself, and took my cards and played them right. I mean, but up until this summer, right before I got my agent, I didn't really think about going to the NBA at all. I mean, I obviously thought about how I could, but I mean, overseas was already on my mind. So
Mm.
once I got with my agent, he got me into the Portsmouth invitational stuff, and then it really just took off from there because I really wasn't going to be in that. And then I think it was Anton Davis, dude from scoring leader, new
Yeah.
scoring NCAA leader. He dropped out of it last minute, and then they called me, and I was like, all right, I'll come for sure. And then the rest is history.
Wow, that's crazy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, seeing everything you've done, not only, throughout pre-draft, but now as a rookie this season, to think that if you don't get that opportunity, you're probably playing overseas somewhere, right? I mean, because that led to everything. That's where your draft stock blew up. That's pretty crazy to think. It all came down to just that one opportunity.
That's why I always, like you said, I mean, it's any opportunity you can get, take the most you can out of it, no matter how small or big it is.
I'm just curious, if you weren't playing professional basketball, even if you didn't make the NBA, if you weren't playing overseas basketball, like if pro basketball was off the table, what would you be doing, you think? What career would you have pursued?
I mean, I'd still stick around sports. Obviously, probably be a coach or something like that. But I mean, it's hard to say because I've been playing basketball since I was 4 and 5 years old. So like this is the life I've always wanted to live, and just to be in it is I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't doing it, honestly.
Thankfully, you don't have to think about that. You mentioned going from playing 2K and seeing, your current teammates to now playing with them. Was there a moment like playing as yourself in 2K or seeing a trading card or your first NBA jersey? Like, was there a moment that kind of felt surreal when you first either saw something or, experienced something? Does anything like that jump out at you?
I mean, seeing myself in 2K was definitely it caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, it just didn't feel real. And then even just the other day, about 2 days ago when we were in Orlando, I had to go do some new face scans for my player on 2K. So it was just like going through all of that was like, I don't know, that was just crazy too, because I seen some YouTube videos back years ago, just how the whole process of putting 2K together works. And now I'm part of it. It's crazy.
Is there anything about the NBA that you didn't expect? Like, I mean, I think a lot of people know, okay, it's going to be faster, the competition is going to be crazy. But then I've talked to players who have said, the travel is way harder than they expect. Some guys say, like, the downtime, there's just so much free time at hotels and things like that. Is there something that you've experienced now that maybe you didn't expect before entering the NBA?
I mean, I'd probably say definitely the difference, the biggest thing for me would be probably the downtime too. I mean, I thought honestly it was gonna be a lot more. Just be a lot more busier. I don't know what thought I was gonna be doing, but I mean, it's honestly crazy how much free time we get. Because you practice and then you do all your stuff within some hours, probably 4 hours a day, and then you got the rest of the day to really do whatever. But you got to figure out a routine and a schedule, and it's just the free time's definitely it's crazy. I didn't think there would be this much.
Yeah, I think that's why you see so many NBA players, play video games on social media. You got to find some way to fill that time, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what would it mean to you to be selected for the Rising Stars game, an all rookie team? I mean, your name's being thrown out there for some of these accolades now, which is so impressive. Again, for an undrafted player, what would it mean to you to get those, to be honored in that way and be selected?
I mean, it'd mean the world. I mean, not just because I'm undrafted, but just because of the journey I went through and just even just the things I've done this season. I mean, if anybody deserves it, I feel like I do for sure. But I'm not gonna be mad at it because I just want to win at the end of the day. I mean, I would take winning over anything. But I mean, obviously those personal goals of mine are to get into these things. But I mean, I'm just gonna keep being me and playing the way I do. But obviously, yes, I would love to be in that stuff. So. Everybody get me in there.
Just as a reminder, I mentioned it earlier, but top 5 in PER among rookies, number 1 in assist to turnover ratio among rookies, number 1 in steal percentage among rookies, 2-time nominee for Rookie of the Month in the East, and the only rookie averaging 10, 5, and 5 as a starter. I mean, come on. It seems like a pretty easy choice here. You got to be a lock. You've done this making the most of every opportunity. No one kind of had you putting up these kind of numbers and playing the way you are. So I think you're one of like the pleasant surprises and like feel good stories of this NBA season. So from the production to how good of a story is, it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I'm curious, did you exceed your own expectations? Because again, people didn't see this coming. Are you surprised by how productive you've been or how many opportunities you've gotten?
I'm very surprised, because coming in on a two-way and spending training camp with everybody healthy and everything like that, you don't necessarily think that 4 to 5 people are going to get hurt, and that's going to be your first opportunity within the first 2 or 3 weeks of your first season. So even to not even play in the G League yet is was kind of crazy to me. But like I said, with the injuries and everything, it was just so fast paced. It just caught me off guard, and I really didn't think it was gonna be an opportunity that fast. But I figured it'd be at some point. But once the first one came, I figured, I started playing good, and I was like, okay, I feel like I'm ready. And then, a couple games later, I'm starting and stuff, and then I started earning more and more trust from everybody. And then it was just like, okay, now I know I'm with the Cavs full time now. So,
what was that first start like when you found out you were starting and taking the floor for the first time? That had to be special.
when my coach texted me and told me, he was just like, be ready. We all got the most confidence in you and everything. I read the text and I was like, man, he's lying. He's just playing. He's playing a little prank on me or something. But once I realized it was really official, it was just one of those like dream come trues, honestly. But it didn't even feel real just because it was so early in my career, and it was crazy.
I'm curious, how do the resources, compare to college? Obviously, JUCO, it's a huge difference. But, like I've talked to guys about just how many coaches there are and the facilities and everything that's kind of at your disposal to get better as a player, even down to like, film study is different. When you look at the resources that you have and just being able to focus on basketball 24/7 for the first time, how much has that kind of helped you?
It's been a big difference maker, honestly, because I can honestly say, like, when I was in college, I worked out and stuff, but I didn't work out outside of practice too much because, you have so many other things going on and so many other things you got to do. But like you said, when you get to focus on basketball 24/7 and you got, these $1 million facilities with, everything you can need that you're taken care of so well just so you can focus on basketball. It's a blessing. Even like the film studies, like you said, like we have certain coaches, position coaches who go through everything with us, and it's just the preparation for this is next level. And it's no comparison. This is the best. Obviously it's better than college and everything, but it's just, I didn't expect everything to be this much, but it's great.
And is there a certain veteran player or coach or someone that's kind of taken you under their wing and really helped you the most with your adjustment, with kind of teaching you? Is there someone that stands out?
Um, I feel like it's crazy to say, but like I feel like there's been literally a little bit of everybody, like just because the position I've been put into, just to come in and have to play this much. I feel like literally everybody on our staff and organization, even the team's just been like just helping me and just making sure that I'm good, and even off the court and everything like that. Like they just make sure we're well taken care of and everything's handled. And like the encore stuff's gonna take care of itself, and they got trust in me now. So, it's just great.
And last question for you, Cavs fans, you're obviously like a fan favorite now. Your story, your effort, the defensive impact, they're loving you. A lot of them are excited about not only what you're doing this year, but what you can become long term since it's your first season. When you look at your long term potential, I'm definitely getting way too ahead of myself here, but thinking about your long term potential, your ceiling, what do you think your upside is long term?
I haven't really thought too much into that as far as like trying to compare it to another player's career. But I could see it honestly being something like a Rondo type of career. He's just an all out winner, and he's just proven himself as just one of those top guards in the league. And he's just one of those players, you look at and he's like, I want that guy on my team. And no matter if he's the fourth or fifth option, he's going to produce and do things to help us win. And that's just the type of career I want to have. Obviously I want to be the best, but sometimes you got to do other things to make your career the best it can be. And I'm prepared for whatever.
Well, Craig, this has been awesome. I appreciate it. And keep killing it, man. It's been really fun watching you and seeing everything you've accomplished. But thanks again for your time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, my guy.
If you guys want to watch more episodes of Running Up the Score, you can tune in on X, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And until next time, thanks for watching.